Everyone, what's up? It's Aaron Matthias from Human Garage, and we are live on our typical Wednesdays talking to the lovely people we collaborate with and partner with, and the who, what, where, and when, and why that they have created what they have created. I'm super excited because I make skincare myself, and I'm talking to a fellow skincare creator, Michaela from Heale, today. And I know what it's like to take a product, formulate it, create it. I focus on tallow-based skincare, and we're going to be talking to Michaela today from Heale and diving into her powerful and potent brand. A few pieces of housekeeping before we dive fully into this conversation. Go over to humangarage.net and sign up. We're about to release our partnered maneuver series and our full coaching program. You can be on the wait list for that. It's about to drop. It's going to help you take these maneuvers and refine your skill sets in a way that will accelerate you. Yes, you can learn them and figure them out on your own over time and continued experimentation. But if you want to really pour some fuel on the fire and accelerate it, go get on the mailing list or grab the Partner Maneuver series at humangarage.net. Do it right now. Well, after this live, go do it because we want you to be here to listen to Michaela. Michaela, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Nice glasses, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, so you have created a very powerful skincare. As in my intro, right before you came on, I was saying is like, I understand the trials and tribulations of building skincare. I have a skincare myself, but a little bit different focus because it's tallow based. But what I would love to hear from you is for those of the vast audience out there who may not know you yet or have not met you, because you've been with Human Garage for quite a while, actually. You've been collaborating with Gary before.
Mhm.
Your product has been on the website for quite a while. But can you give people an update? Who the heck you are? Why are you here?
Okay, so first things first, I actually got in touch with Human Garage about 2 years ago, and they did really like what my skincare line was about. Now,
Mhm.
how I actually developed everything was I was born with complete full body eczema. Like I would
Wow.
cry, and my parents actually had no idea what to do with me because they're like, this is so nuanced, we have no idea. So as time went on, I started getting flares, but then over the pandemic, my flares started to get really severe to the point where I wasn't able to open my hand, couldn't close my hand, couldn't even run it underwater. Even juices from cutting fruits and vegetables were creating a lot of pain on the palm of my hand because I have dyshydrotic eczema, meaning that the skin barrier is just completely compromised. Um, so then I said, okay, you know what? With the things that I learned in school, I need to do something about this.
Yeah.
So I started to create a product and I was doing a trial and error run over the summer after my first year, I believe it was. And then I created this product. I started using it on myself and I saw amazing results. And I ended up posting it on my Instagram story. And then I was getting replies in terms of, are you selling this? What is this? What does this consist of? So then I said, you know what? Why not? If I can help myself, I would want to help other
Yeah.
people as well because I do understand the pain of dealing with eczema on a daily basis, even psoriasis, acne, things like that. Number one, it not only depletes your confidence, but it causes physical pain as well. So I said,
Yeah.
okay, let's do something about this. Let's make a change. So that's how
So,
I actually started developing my brand. And the, yes.
oh no, I just had a quick. It popped in my head, and maybe you'll maybe you'll actually answer it. But what what made you want to start making your own formulations versus could you not find something on the market that helped you? Like what led to that
So
impetus?
it's actually really interesting because, well, side note, I actually just finished naturopathic medical school yesterday, so thank you. That's exactly where I started to get all of these
Because
ideas.
you're going to take graduation photos after this, right?
Of course.
Okay. I saw a message from Marco,
Yeah.
who's our team, and he was like, she has to take graduation photos. I was like, okay, we'll
Yeah.
try our best to keep the time compressed.
And these photos are a big deal, so I have to be prepared.
Yeah.
But so I was actually sitting in my botanical medicine class, and we started learning about a lot of the herbs, and I said, okay, like I have an idea for myself. Now, I couldn't really find a product on the market that I resonated with, and I also didn't want to keep applying topical corticosteroids to my skin because I was using them long term. And I said, okay, why don't I try an alternate route, see what I can do, and then worst things worse, I'll go back to that. So that's how I actually started developing it. I was taking the time to research some of the herbs that I was learning. I was also looking at their traditional actions as well. And then I tried to come up with a balanced formulation to see, okay, what action can I get from this herb, and then how can they work in synergy together? So that's exactly how it started. And then I gave myself about 1 to 2 months of a trial run, but I started noticing significant differences after about a week and a half.
Wow.
And then I started sharing my journey and sharing the product that I created, and that's how it started.
Amazing. And
Yes.
what are the particular combination of, I guess, herbs that have that effect? And by the way, I just saw the question pop up. It flew by. The brand is called Heale. You can go right now to the website at Human Garage and just find it there, click it, and go right to our website, or you can just go to Healy.com.
Yes, yes. So the herbs, the basis in the skin salve, their actions are known as vulneraries. And what vulneraries do is that they actually repair wounds and they help support the skin barrier. So I decided to choose two gentle ones because people with eczema and psoriasis and whatnot tend to have very sensitive skin. So I said, okay, let's do a more gentle action. So the two base herbs are actually chamomile and calendula. And
Okay.
they're known for a wide array of things. You can drink them as tea, they help anxiety, they help digestion. But then I said, what about topically? So I tried to use those ones just because they were safer for open wounds as well, because some herbs you have to be very careful if the wound is opened on the skin. And then I was playing around with base oils and a thick base as well, and then the essential oil drops as well. So I said, okay, what formula can I maximize actions? Everything can work in synergy together, but still have such a positive, gentle effect. So that's why it took quite a while to come up with a formula, but in the end, it did work, and it's helped hundreds and hundreds of people worldwide. So I am very, very grateful.
Amazing. Now, with the shift of that, right, of using the cream stuff, were
Mhm.
you also focused on making it changes to diet, to lifestyle? Was
Of
anything
course.
combined in there as well, or?
Yes, I tell all of my customers, I said, a topical can only go so far. Yes, it's very, very helpful, but
Yeah.
skin starts from within. Now, obviously, I can't provide that advice because this is just a business for topical products. But
Yes.
I'll give you an example with some of my patients that come to me with skin concerns. I do a lot of internal work. And for me, that actually starts with number one, the adrenal glands for stress. Number two, gut health is absolutely huge. And number three, liver health. All three of those together, they do contribute to skin a lot. So internally, that's where you would definitely start with skin or even
Yeah.
go. But this topically would be an extra addition on top of what you're doing. So you do need both. Both are very important, but one is not technically going to be your savior, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, 100%. Because it's a huge thing that I've noticed is I don't know, maybe numbers wise or whatever, if it's the same kind of correlation in men, because I think that the men's foray into wanting to use beauty products and skincare products is starting to grow.
Yes.
But I've noticed, especially in the female market, so much of the marketing is like, hey, if you just buy this cream, you're gonna look, amazing and 20 years younger just with this cream. And it's kind of like, no, if your lifestyle sucks,
Yes, exactly.
if
I know.
you're not getting good rest, if you're out partying every day and your liver's shot and all these things, it's like, yes, it'll probably still give your skin, make it feel nice, but it's not gonna have the greatest potential to work like it could.
Yes, completely understandable. So I think lifestyle is definitely the most challenging thing that
Yeah.
people come across and have to accept to actually change. It is very difficult to put a big shift into your life, saying, okay, I have to go from eating this to eating this. I have to be very strict with myself in terms of having the willpower to say no, or being more aware of what I'm consuming and what I'm doing. So I think that's the most difficult part. So when people do purchase a topical, it's like a quick, easy fix for them.
Yeah.
But in reality, yes, it does help, but it only goes so far. So internally, I think it's the most important for skin.
Do you now have you gotten completely past your own flare ups with the
Yes.
eczema and stuff like that? Is it gone?
So I'll get a flare up under times of very, very heightened stress, but I also do understand where it's coming from. So the very slight flare up that I do get is when I start to implement my product more heavily, and then I start to implement more dietary and lifestyle changes to a further degree. So stress and extremely cold weather, just because of the compromised skin barrier, it just allows more moisture to actually exit the skin and more chemical irritants to come into the skin. So those are the only two times that I will get a flare up. But my flare ups used to be all over the palm of my hand. Now, when I do get a flare up, it's mostly just like the inner finger. So the actual severity of it has reduced extensively. But when that does happen, I know the correct actions to take so I don't allow it to develop any further.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But for the most part, I would say 95% it's gone.
Wow. That's amazing because I know, I mean, it's a huge thing. I mean, thank the world, I have not had to encounter having eczema or breakouts like that.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine like having this because people already are so concerned with how they appear and like
Hmm.
feeling ashamed and stuff like that to have to deal with that on top of and this sounds like a very potent accelerant to healing. Is that what led to the name?
Somewhat, yes. I actually
Or
did put it in, I put a bunch of ideas in a name generator, and I think
okay.
that's the one that stuck out most to me. And I said, you know what? Yeah, let's heal ourselves. So then I'm going to call my brand Heal. So that's exactly how it started. But you're right. Like topicals, they're very, very useful. And I think a lot of people gravitate towards them a lot because of the confidence concern nowadays. Skin is a very big market in terms of there's a huge emotional component, there's a mental component, and there's a physical component to it, right? So you kind of have to find that sweet spot with a lot of people, but I think it's good because I actually understand where my customers are coming from and that my ability to resonate with them really makes them trust my brand. And that's one of my biggest goals is to do that because I understand what it's like to not have a direction in terms of your healing journey.
Yeah, actually that's huge. No, I was thinking about what you said there of like not having a direction is huge
Hmm.
because there's so much contradictory information, so much one person telling you this, another person telling you that, all these back and forths, and
Hmm.
it is very hard sometimes to find a way. So what do you if someone comes out to you, what do you say to them? Like if they reach out with a question of like, "Hey, I've got this is happening to me.
Yeah.
Obviously here's the product to use, but
Hmm.
do you go beyond that to give them information or and while you're answering that, I'm still here. I just have to actually there's a hammock that's tied behind me. I have to unhook it because I can't move. So give me
Okay,
one
no problem.
begin to answer that. If you see me
No,
move off screen for a second, I did not leave. I'm here.
no
Okay.
problem.
Okay.
Okay, so usually when people reach out to me, number one, it depends on the question, but I do guide them towards the best product for them. So right now I do have three products out. The Skin Salve is the best seller because I think it's the most versatile product that I do have on my website. So that's when I say it's more for breakage in the skin barrier, actually healing the skin for certain skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis. Sometimes it could work for rosacea, but it's more on like the bigger spectrum of things, cuts, burns, bruises, sunburns, whatever it is. So that is the biggest one that I would direct them towards. But I would say it's obviously best to also speak to a healthcare practitioner and it start like healing does start from within for the skin. So that's also something to consider on top of using a topical. But then people also come to me saying, I have very irritated and red skin. I get a lot of hives. I get a lot of rashes. So then I would say, you know what? I think the cooling salve would be best for you because the herbs within that salve energetically are very cooling towards the skin. So if you're expelling a lot of heat from within, number one, you have to cool that heat internally, which is something separate, but also applying a very cooling topical helps resolve a lot of the irritation that's present on the skin. Then my third product, Scalp Repair, I made that because a lot of people were asking me, can I apply the skin salve and the cooling salve to my scalp? The consistency is a little thicker. So I said, okay, why don't I develop a formula that's actually good for lots and lots of scalp conditions, ranging from eczema and psoriasis to a fungal infection to seborrheic dermatitis, everything, even just dandruff in itself. So then I ended up developing this product and we released that last year. And my customers have actually seen very good results. It's a gentle formula, can be left in overnight. And they've noticed that in terms of the detoxification and dehydration, it has definitely improved ever since using it.
Amazing. What is the combination of difference between the cooling and the heating?
So the cooling salve has peppermint and lemon balm and lavender in it. Now, those three herbs in itself energetically are very, very cooling towards the skin. Lemon balm also has an affinity to improve circulation in some extent. So that's why I wanted to add those herbs into that product. The skin salve is the calendula and the chamomile. Energetically, they're not really cooling or warming. They're kind of just more on the neutral aspect, which is why I liked to use it because people who have that broken skin barrier do experience a lot of symptoms, right? So sometimes it's hard to target energetically like that. But the scalp repair, that's more of a detoxifying, improving circulation, and hydrating formula, and it reduces a lot of the irritation that people experience on their scalp. And scalp is very, very exposed to all environments because, you know, winter changes, people don't wear hats. You go in the sun, you don't wear a hat.
Yeah.
So, and even your hair care products as well all affect your scalp. So that one I had to be a little bit more careful with and had to focus on, okay, what do I want to maximize in this formula?
Okay.
Yeah.
Would there be like a contradiction, I guess, if someone's using, for say the hair treatment, because
Hmm.
I think most shampoos are a bit unnecessary personally. I mean, I think there's still ones you can use that are better than others, but would shampoo interfere with the effects of the salve, or is that something that you put on, you do a treatment, and then you let it sit for a while,
Yes,
or is it
exactly.
like,
It's the treatment. So the only thing that I tell my customers is just ensure you do not have a sensitivity to any of the herbs within the formula. It's always good to patch test an area first, just in case, because sometimes people don't know that they have a sensitivity or an allergy prior to using it. But you would leave it in for a minimum of 3 hours because you really have to let it seep in. Some people do leave it in overnight and they find greater results that way just because there's a longer sit time. And then just double wash it out with your shampoo. Now, the shampoos I don't really comment on because everybody has different shampoos. One shampoo can work for someone, one
yeah,
can't work for another. It completely depends. The only thing I say is just try not to mix it with any topical medications because in terms of interactions like that, I'm unsure because of the wide variety of topicals that are out there. So if that's the case and they're very keen on doing so, then obviously just speak to a healthcare provider just to check interactions for safety. But other than that, the only thing is sensitivity.
okay. Would
Yes.
that product also help people with like actual, if their hair is like thinning, or are they like regrowth or thickening
Some
of it?
extent, some extent. That's not really the main action of the formula, but some of the herbs in there do detoxify and boost circulation. So in itself, along with repairing the barrier, because that's also a problem for hair loss, it can stimulate it, but I'm not going to say it 1000% will because that's not the action of the formula. It
Got
was
it.
more for repairing the scalp barrier and then improving the other parameters in terms of, balancing the sebum production and removing some of that built up layer, supporting dandruff, all of that. So that's the basis of the scalp repair formula.
Okay. Yeah, because it freaks me out when people use like what is it, minoxidil and all these weird.
Yeah, for hair growth, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's a big
wow, don't do that.
question. That's a big question. But like I said, hair growth also starts internally as well, right? You have to look at your protein intake. You also have to look at your overall lifestyle. Are you digesting and absorbing properly too? Are you eating the correct foods for your body? Are you stressed? What's your overall organ function? So, like I said, some of my patients also come to me and chief concern is hair loss. So you always have to look at the underlying cause. For one person, it might be one thing. For another, it might be multiple things. So that's when the multifaceted approach comes in. But topicals are a good way to go for that specifically, especially if somebody is having a digestion and absorption issue.
Okay.
Yes.
Very cool. Yeah, because it's again, I think it's another. It's like a battle of marketing and messaging, because so many
Yeah.
companies again are like, I don't know if this happens because you're Canadian, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
From that weird place, Canada, Canada, Canada,
Yeah.
Canada. I don't know if it's the same up there, but in the U.S. it's kind of interesting because and and I don't know. I've seen it pop up all over especially being marketed towards men. Is there's all these companies now, from TRT and testosterone boosting, to handling, and all these companies are randomly popping up all over the place.
Hmm.
Uh, and each one of them has like, hey, your hair is thinning, giving out basically. You just have to fill out a questionnaire, and they'll write you a script to shoot you out minoxidil and all these other things to try to regrow hair and stuff like that. And it's wild to me that they're popping up like crazy.
Yeah.
And to me, that's causing more damage or overload in the system when there is actual. And I know this product's not necessarily geared towards that, but even the action, it seems like, of freeing up blockage in your scalp and creating better blood flow would probably have a healthier effect. And maybe you can't comment on this, but
Yeah.
it's just wild to see that there's this, when there is great products like these herbs that can have such a powerful effect, that it still kind of gets pushed to the side to a certain extent.
Hmm. So what I can say about that is herbal medicine is like this nuanced concept to the entire world, but if you actually take a step back, it's been around for thousands of years. I think we have just forgotten about the actions, indications, and uses for them. And obviously, there's not a lot of research about majority of the herbs out there because it's a nuanced concept. It's also very difficult to research herbs as well because they grow differently every single year. So the constituents within are actually not the same. So it's not a standardized extract. Until you start getting into the actual supplements and the capsules and when you're extracting everything, that's completely different. Then it's a little easier. But like I said, this is more of a nuanced thing. So some people are a little skeptical on it, but some people are very firm believers. Now, there is a role for pharmaceuticals in certain things, but in our medicine, naturopathic medicine, we always try to do the standard of care. So we'll look first, okay, what's your diet like? What's your lifestyle like? What's your nutritional intake? Are you taking nutritional supplements? Do we do herbs? After we've extensively tried everything, then it's in our best interest to say, you know what, maybe you should have a conversation with your doctor and then go towards that route. Because on our end, we've tried everything standard of care wise, because you're important, you're a patient, we have to put your best interests at hand. So I think there's a room for everything, but yes, there's a lot of misinformation out there in terms of people see an advertisement and then they misinterpret the advertisement or it's not advertised properly and then they try something and then they're like, this is not working for me or this caused this. So that's something that we really try to do is to inform properly and to put all of the information essentially out there in terms of what you can be experiencing, what this does, what that does, interaction wise, timeline. And I think that's the beauty in it because actually understanding that gives you a better benefit and puts more confidence in towards the product.
That's amazing. I love that. I love that you said that of giving people an informed,
Yes.
a very informed and open approach of like, hey, here's the potential. Here's what this can do.
Hmm.
We're not gonna play the game of like, yeah, 100%. This is gonna do this.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because again, so many companies do that kind of BS marketing of fix all your problems. It's like
Exactly.
it's a little bit more nuanced than that typically. Um,
Hmm.
I'm super curious, like how did you? I know you had your own skin conditions, but what did that lead you down the pathway to the career that you're pursuing now with the naturopath, or at some point did you want to be like an astronaut, and then all of a sudden you were like, no, health and wellness? Like, how did you get here?
Well, I mean, SK, I wanted to be a ballerina, so I think that that ship has definitely sailed. But I was
I mean, you can
actually
still dance. You can, if
at
you want. You
maybe,
can
I don't know. I don't think I have that talent.
give us some spins.
But I was actually studying for my MCAT to go into conventional medicine in undergrad of university. And then I was going through my own health concerns, skin, but others as well, more of the gut. And I
Okay.
kept going to the conventional side. And as great as some of my doctors were, I felt like I was being bounced around and not giving a clear cut answer. And I said there has to be a cause for this. Like there's no reason as to why it just happens naturally, right?
Yeah.
So then I actually went into the herbalism and naturopathic route. I saw a naturopath and I started to experience some improvements. And I think that's when it actually switched for me because I said, I don't want my patients to feel the way I felt. So I want to sit and listen to them and really dive into why something is occurring. And that's how I got into my medicine. So I stopped studying for my MCAT and then I applied to naturopathic medical school and I ended up getting in. And I think it was the best decision of my life because I have helped so many people. And it's actually very, very rewarding for me because every patient for me is different, right? So it always keeps me on my toes. It's always very challenging. And I do really like that and appreciate that. But you learn a lot from your patients as your patients learn from you. So I think just overall, it's a really great experience.
Oh, that's amazing. Was your family really into like pushing you towards like medicine itself, or were they open to this idea of you maybe going from more of a conventional to, hey, I'm
No,
going
no, no.
natural.
So that's actually a very good question because both of my parents, they actually got their undergraduate degrees in university in chemistry. So they went
Oh,
into the pharmaceutical companies and they worked there for about a decade. So they're very, very well versed and aware of that side of medicine. So I've always been into science and into helping people. So that idea of being a doctor has been ingrained in me since I was a little kid. So then when I was studying for my MCAT, yes, of course, they were very proud of me. And then when I switched to natural medicine, they were still proud of me, but I think it was a little bit more difficult for them to wrap their head around that concept since it was nuanced to them. But then when I got into the program and they actually saw all of the effects that some of the herbs I was using and homeopathics and acupuncture, Chinese medicine, all of that, they took a step back and they I think they got a different appreciation for it. They completely support me 1000%. And even them, they are seeing their own naturopaths as well. So I think it's great. Yeah, a lot has changed.
that's amazing.
Yes,
But because you're not, I mean, technically you can't, right? You can't see a family member, right, with the rules and regulations.
technically, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that's true in America too, or is that? I think
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's
just
universal.
because
Yeah.
it's because your emotions tend to get involved in the treatment plan, so it's just unethical, and that's why they would see other people, which is completely fine. As long as they're improving their health, I'm okay with that.
You're like on the back, and you're like, hey, don't that person's an idiot. Don't listen to them.
Yeah,
I know what's up.
yeah,
That's funny.
without saying anything.
Um, so now you have these core products that you have. Are
Mhm.
you working on some new avenues? Do you have some
Yes.
other things brewing in your brilliant mind?
Yes, so right now I'm actually working on an antifungal formula, and this is because last summer I got a full body tinea infection. And
A
I was
what?
looking at tinea, the fungal infection that's on your skin, ringworm.
Oh wow. Okay.
I got a full body infection and I did not know what to do because I was looking on the market for other products and the products just weren't resonating with me or they didn't have ingredients that I liked, essentially. So I had to end up using a topical antifungal, which was pharmaceutical. Completely fine because I was in quite a bit of pain and I needed to heal this in order to be there for my patients. So I'm actually going to develop one because talking to a couple people, I do realize how common this is, especially people that do go to the gym. They get toe fungus, they get skin fungus. People that
Yeah.
vacation also get fungus as well. Sometimes it shows up as the white patches. At the base of the scalp as well, people do get fungal infections from there too, depending on how often they wash their hair, products that they're using, things like that. So I'm in the works of developing that. And then I think I'm also going to be developing another product more for a lip balm because a lot of people are coming to me saying, I don't like the ingredients in the lip balms that I'm currently using. It's not hydrating enough, this and that. So those are my next avenues right now. It'll take some time. I do have some of the formulas, but I do need to test them out. This summer is going to be a big summer for me. I'm studying for my board exams. So it'll be doing both at the same time. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing my best, but that's definitely the plan.
No, it's really cool actually because you have a whole market with actually people who are in martial arts and jujitsu. Because I know a lot of people who are on the mat in jujitsu because they're in such close contact. like
Yes,
fighting and sweating on each other and wrestling. There's a lot of ringworm
exactly.
and things like that that get passed around.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely a big market, but like I said as well, that also comes from within too, because you need the proper immune system to be fighting off that infection, right? That's
Yeah.
already residual on our skin. It's just when your immune system gets compromised or you come in contact with someone, it's the overgrowth that starts to become a problem. So on top of it, a topical antifungal internal work again would be necessary.
You said something interesting there. You said it's already on the skin
Yes,
and in
yes,
the
yes,
skin.
yes. Yep,
Can
we
you
have a
elaborate on
huge
that for
Yeah,
everybody?
we have a
That's
huge microbiome on our skin. There are multiple different types of bacteria and fungus. They're there in proper ratios. But when your immune system starts to get depleted, overgrowth can then happen. And then that's when people start to get infections, like staph infections, for example, where it's all oozing and crusty. And then fungal infections, like you have multiple types of tinea, athlete's foot, all of that. That's when it starts to go haywire, is when internally your immune system is deprived in a certain way. And then obviously coming into contact with that puts you at a bigger susceptibility. So that's why I said, okay, you know what? Maybe it's time for myself to develop a topical antifungal and I'll like play around with the ratios, do my research in terms of the efficacy, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
okay. Oh,
Hmm.
that's interesting. I mean, that makes sense though. Like if the balance, because we're filled with bacteria. We're always walking around, and we're coming in contact with stuff just like any other creature.
Exactly.
And it makes sense. Like if our own system, which would typically regulate it, goes out of balance for whatever reason, especially from being stressed out,
Yes.
uh, then these things are like, hey, I can party now. the
Exactly.
the boss
Exactly.
isn't here anymore. Let's throw a party, and all of a sudden
Yep.
you got crazy breakouts.
Our gut is the exact same way. We have good and we have bad bacteria, but everything is needed. It's the moment when diet and lifestyle start to kind of alter, then they're like, okay, I have a chance to overgrow now. And then symptoms start to arise, gut symptoms, lung symptoms, skin symptoms, everything. It's all interconnected.
Yeah.
So, like I said, my job in a sense is to just provide topical relief, and it does help a wide variety of people. Sometimes it completely goes away in the individuals that use it, those with greater resilience per se. But then some people, it's only like a 90, 95% gone. So, like I said, everybody is individualized, right? So you can't essentially say, oh, this worked for one person, this is going to completely heal me. It's always worth a try, but I do see very good results with majority of my customers. So,
That's that again, amazing on there. Do you, you know, in your practicing and like seeing people, because you are even though you don't have you're going to your boards now, you have been like seeing clients and patients and things like that.
yes, that was my whole internship year. So I did 12 months of an internship. I saw my own patients under the supervision of naturopathic doctors at my school. So right now I'm actually, you know what? I'll spread the word. But I got a job. So the clinic is called Tri Health Wellness, and I will be the assistant naturopathic medical intern per se to a doctor at that clinic. He's actually the owner, wonderful man. So over the summer, as I'm studying, I'm going to be taking my own patients in that sense underneath his license. And then once I pass my board exams, I will be fully licensed myself, and then I'll be able to call myself a naturopathic doctor.
And by the way, you guys, that's a clinic in Canada,
Yeah.
Canada, in the lovely
Yeah, in
Canada. So
Canada.
if you're in the U.S., if you're in the U.S. and you're gonna, I don't know, you could probably travel across the border and go see Michaela, but that's currently in Canada. So
Yes, sorry,
yeah,
Canada.
just so no one's like, I want to come see you, and they're like in Texas.
Yeah, sorry, only in Canada.
Yeah. Um, do you have plans to also, and I don't know, maybe there's different regulations in Canada with this, but you have this brilliant products that are helping people. Are you also going to like maybe create an online practice? Can you do that?
So we can. The only difference is because I will be licensed in Ontario, I can only see patients from Ontario. I also can't essentially merge my face and my name with my brand just because of regulations. So that has to be something separate on its own. But that doesn't mean I can still prescribe it or keep it in a clinic that I'm working at, for example. So my goal is to be as integrative as possible and spread the word to other practitioners as well, because sometimes it is very hard to find topicals that your patients resonate with, or with
Yeah.
cleaner ingredients per se, or with great results. So my goal is to spread the word in that sense, but I also want to focus on my online platform to go worldwide, because I think a lot of people are lacking trust in certain companies, or they don't essentially resonate with all of the ingredients within. So that's going to be my goal. But I definitely do want to expand product wise. It'll just take time because I really, really, really put a lot of effort into my formulations.
Yeah. What is
Yes.
your, so I got two questions. I'll go to the
Yeah.
first one and then the second one. The first one, you said this a few times, I've noticed, and I'm curious about if there's what you mean by it. You say resonate with me. It resonates, or the resonance. Is that, are you talking more energetically, or you just mean from, hey, I don't like those ingredients?
I think
Because
it's both. I
okay,
think
because
it's both.
I interpret it as like you picking up on like a resonance or an energy of it.
Well, for one, I picked a great company that does produce it. And I think that the care of actually making something does affect the individual in itself. Like, you know how people always say, oh, your cookies taste better than my cookies? I think it's honestly just the way that it's made.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I did pick a wonderful company to produce my products, and I'm very appreciative of that. But in terms of resonation, if somebody has that trust established with the product, they're already going to have more positive energy surrounding it. But then also, as well, the herbs, they're very gentle. And I decided to use a minimal amount of herbs so the skin wouldn't be irritated or as inflamed, right? So it's getting used to maybe 2 ingredients instead of 10. So that's what I mean by resonate is number one, energetically, number one, it's the actual look around the entire product and the entire brand. And then number three, it's the formula itself. So some products that I do see on the market, nothing wrong with this at all, but they have a wide variety of herbs. So when someone does apply to the skin and it gets irritated, it's like, okay, what herb out of this big formula is what's actually irritating me? Or is it too many actions at the same time? Are they canceling each other out and we don't understand which one is doing what? So I think that simplicity is definitely key. But like I said, that's why I put a lot of effort into making my formulas, because I do really, really care about my customers' health.
Amen. I'm so happy you
Yeah,
said that.
yeah.
I'm so happy you said this, because it is another kind of comical thing to watch actually in the marketplace. Is someone will create something with 45,000 ingredients in it, and
Yeah,
it's a huge question of like, okay, cool, I got some results, but what actually produced the results? Is it
exactly.
this massive formula, or
Exactly.
which? So if I stop that, what do I actually need? So
Hmm.
I like that you've honed it down to the minimal, most effective potential dosage, and people can really kind of ascertain what is working and what's not working.
Hmm.
And then also too, I think like when you stick so many things in there, if you got that many ingredients in one thing, is there enough of those? Are they actually in
The
a dosage
concentration.
that could
Yeah.
actually create an effect anyway if there's that many?
Yes, I completely agree with you. That's exactly why I say simplicity is key. You can get the biggest concentration of a very effective herb and it'll still produce benefits in the individual. I do the same thing with my patients in private practice as of now because I'm done school, but I do the same thing because they want to take a bunch of supplements, right? Because they saw this online, they saw that online, but it's like, okay, let's give your body a little break. We don't know which one is working. Let's try simplicity. Sometimes I even give them just one herb. One herb can have 5 actions, let's say. So, okay, let's see how you respond to this. If it's not working well, maybe then we'll try a combination after that. But just not try to bombard the system because our bodies are very resilient. So you have to let it actually heal instead of over bombarding it. And I think that's what I really try to do with my products because I like the fact that it is so simple yet so effective.
Awesome. There's also something key that you said there is you have to give some space for the body to do its thing,
Yes.
because again, a lot of, and I don't know if people maybe fully grasp, or maybe, and with your knowledge, maybe you can even elaborate on this a little
Hmm.
bit, but herbs, supplements, all these things also are stressors on the system, because
Yeah.
they are stimulating the body in different ways,
Hmm.
and sometimes those actions are making you worse a little bit because, again, it's not the thing that you actually need. You're just
Mhm.
taking something because you saw a cool ad.
I agree. So a lot is trial and error for sure. I just think as a society here in the Western world, we are very, very bombarded. I think we're very overwhelmed. Our lifestyle is either here or here. It's like you're going all or nothing or just completely nothing. And I think people lack a balance in a lot of things. So they think by taking a supplement, it's actually going to be helping them because, oh, this does this, so it's going to help with this. But in reality, everything is very, very interconnected. So sometimes that person just needs nourishment, and that could be a single herb that just tends to calm the body down and nourish the body down so it can reset. And I think that's my job is to take a step back, analyze the entire situation, analyze the entire case, and then say, okay, what's the best direction of treatment for you? What's the most sustainable for you? What can you do and have the capacity to do that I can give you that we can see over like a 6 to 8 week period of time and we'll notice results after that. So I like to put a lot of the responsibility per se on my patients because they only see me once every 6 to 8 weeks, right? I'm not
Yes.
holding their hand every single day. So it's also my job to instill that motivation within them, or let's say inspiration for them to find the motivation to then do what they need to do. So I'm just the guide, but I'm also the person that's really reading them and then choosing the best option for them at the same time. And I think that also ties into my products as well because I only have three, but those three are very, very versatile, and but they're also very simple at the same time. So they can be used for a wide variety of things. And it's like someone doesn't have to be taking 4 to 5 topicals for one or two things that they're experiencing.
Yeah. I noticed something, an interesting kind of trend actually, and
Hmm.
I think this is also why we like Human Garage aligns with you, like why we align with you as well, very closely. Is what I've noticed in talking to so many freaking people. I want to swear sometimes so bad, and I can't do it on here. It's going to be like but I've noticed with people, there seems to be a trend with people that we align with is one really kind of cutting out the noise,
Hmm.
getting into some simplicity, and then using things very more selectively. And when it comes down to it, it's the simplest things that tend to have the bigger effect. Like even if you look at like fascial maneuvers,
Yeah.
like it's pretty simple, but yet it produces a pretty good effect on getting people moving and releasing stress and tension. And
Hmm.
it's something that's not too complex.
You're right. You're right.
And
I
I've
think that,
noticed this trend with so many partners of people
yeah.
saying like, hey, I, everybody listen and focus in and see what actually really resonates with you.
Hmm. I think a lot of people have this misconstrued thought where if you're going to go into the natural care, it has to be complicated because your condition per se is complicated. But that's actually not the case half the time. Sometimes you just need that simplicity. Don't get me wrong, there are cases where, they get a little bit more complex in terms of supplements to prescribe
Yeah.
and other dietary and lifestyle things to do. But I think majority of the time, number one, therapeutic order is the biggest thing. You always have to start with the most simplistic idea. And a lot of the times, even at a very low dose of that simplistic idea, people do respond quite well. Because it's like, okay, I'm actually giving my body the opportunity to do its thing. I'm not overwhelming it, and I'm taking it very slow, and I'm actually paying attention to what this one thing is doing for me. Versus just popping a bunch of pills and getting stressed that you're forgetting to take them and all of this. So like I said, I try to do the most basic, simple thing for my patients so they don't get overwhelmed. You develop the trust as well, and then we can actually see if there's improvements going on with this. Then obviously you reassess later on. But to start off, I think it is the basic of care.
It's amazing because
Yes.
I think that gets lost is how do we track how do we track improvement if there's four million things going on?
I
How do we
agree.
see what's going on?
I
I
agree.
love it. I'm curious to pick your brain on this thought because being around skincare myself and stuff like this, and it's something I actually push back on people about, especially when I speak with women, and sometimes they're like, "Oh, don't try to tell me," and I'm like, "I'm not trying to tell you, it's just an idea."
Yeah.
But I'm curious to hear your thoughts and feedback on this, because I don't believe that people need, especially women, need like 25 different products on their skin. And it seems like every woman I encounter has been marketed to so hardcore that they're like, when I wake up in the morning, I've got my 10-step routine,
Yeah, that's
and I
fair.
have my left eye cream, my right eye cream, my left cheek cream, my lower quadrant of my chin cream,
That's fair.
and then their midday routine, and then their nighttime, which has another 25 different products. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but
No,
not
I
really,
understand.
because
It
I
gets
saw a study that
expensive.
said the average woman uses 16 different products on their face at one time.
Yeah. It gets very expensive. Marketing, for sure, probably the biggest cause, but I also think another cause is social media and aging. People have a very big fear around aging. So, aging is a natural process. Now,
Yes.
as a woman, especially because we age in different places than men do, like for example, on the face, on the neck, and on the chest, those are the biggest, on the hands and the feet too. But there's just this, like, it's like a negative bubble around, oh, okay, you're starting to get wrinkles and you're starting to age, like, we need to fix that. You can't reverse the aging process. Like, yes, you can use products to help, nourish the skin, replenish the skin, maybe like alter the timeline of aging just a bit, but it's something that can't be stopped. And then I think that's where a lot of the marketing and the skincare starts to come in because people think that they can stop it and just look young forever, but that's not really the case. And I think the biggest thing for skincare is just acceptance. Like you need to accept the fact that you are aging, but with a healthier lifestyle, dietary choices, there can be topicals that you can use as well. Maybe not 25, but there
Yeah.
can be topicals that you can use as well. I think in that sense together, like you also will see a difference too.
Yeah.
But like genetics play a role as well. So
Yeah.
genetically, like if your family has aged earlier, then you're going to age earlier. There's some frustration around that. I get it. I'm not saying no to skincare products because some can be needed, like retinols and whatnot. Obviously, microneedling is good, things like that. But I think people just have to realize like aging is a natural thing. Maybe you don't need 25 different skincare
Yeah.
products and spending $1,000 a month. Just
Yeah.
let it flow.
Crazy.
Let it
Like
flow.
find maybe one, two, three good products, because
Yeah,
I think it's like it's brilliant by these companies actually.
it is.
So they have you, oh, you need this cleanser. So the cleanser strips the nutrients and disturbs the microbiome of your face skin.
Mhm.
But then you need this cream to put on after the cleanser, and then you need one
Yeah.
that's slightly a different formulation to tackle. And it's like, so then they're stacking things, and they're just continually to put a bunch of stress. It seems like logically that's putting more stress and more for the skin to constantly have to try to fight and process and rebalance itself
Hmm.
than it would be if you just like simplify and said, hey, cool, I'm gonna. Because honestly, a lot of the people that I've met who have like just incredible skin tone, their how they respond to life, how they
Yes.
deal with stressors, and how they then what they eat. But then their routines are tend to be super simple. Like, yeah, I have like properly filtered clean water, and they use like maybe one or two moisturizers because the air where they live is dry.
Hmm.
And when they have more intense stuff, they use, but their routines are very simple and minimal.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think honestly, what I've been seeing this is posture is a very big thing as well. Because
Oh,
when you're
interesting.
tending to be hunched all the time, you actually compromise the blood flow to the face and to the head. So then hair loss symptoms can start. You lack a lot of luster, I guess, within the skin, and then you don't have that proper blood flow to help support the regrowth and repair of the skin. So I think posture is another thing, as well as people's facial expressions all the time tend to tighten all the underlying fascia. But when it gets so tight, like there's no room for anything to flow. So even just by doing massages and then even like those deep fascial maneuvers of the face, but as well as working up here to improve your posture and reduce some of the tension and stress, that in itself can also have a very big improvement as well. So Aside from skincare, yes, because topicals are needed, internal is a very big thing. Even physical maneuvers as well can help see those results. So I think it's
Yeah.
just like a very multifaceted approach for a lot of people. Some people just feel better with applying a bunch of stuff and then not changing, internal factors and physical factors. But to each their own. I just
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
every single concept is definitely needed to achieve, I guess, what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ladies, if you've suddenly listened, we're trying to save you a whole bunch of money. and
Yes,
and long term help you take care of yourself in a way better way
of course.
is what we've in a way said is like, hey, you don't need a lot of this shit.
Yes,
um
yes.
so I want to also be respectful of you. I know you have to go take graduation pictures, and I'm so happy that you've
Thank
achieved this.
you.
That's so amazing. What I want to do is I want to ask you two silly questions, and then I want to give you the final word, and
Mhm.
then we'll just kind of wind down. Um, and if you can, in your final word, let people know where to find you, where to follow you, the best
Of
places to
course.
connect with you if they have more questions and want to dive in.
Mhm.
And probably also just quickly address, that shipping is totally okay from Canada to the U.S. That you can do that.
Yes, 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 yes.
Um, so my first silly question is: any cool book recommendations?
Book
Are you
recommend.
a big reader or?
Yes. You know what? For herbalism, Matthew Wood has a bunch of great books. It's actually very easy to understand actions and indications of his herbs. So if you guys are looking to read more into that, I would definitely say go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about some good music?
Good music. I am an old school R&B girl, so I like all of
Oh,
that.
really?
I
Interesting.
think it's really calming for me.
Well, when you say old school
Okay.
R&B, what do you mean? Because there's like old school like 60s,
Like,
70s, 80s,
I,
90s.
you know what? I actually listen to 60s, 70s, and 80s music, but in terms of R&B, I would say 90s and 2000s. That's the way to go.
Okay, R&B 90s, 2000s. So
Yeah.
like who would that be, like Tribe Called Quest? Uh
Mariah Carey is a big one. I'm
yeah,
a
okay.
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early Mariah.
Yeah.
I love it. What's your favorite Mariah song?
Obsessed.
I don't know if I know that one offhand. Obsessed.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Because I was a teenager in the late 90s,
Yeah, I
which is
wasn't
interesting.
born yet. I was born in 1999.
Oh, jeez. I graduated high school in 1996.
Yeah, I'm a little young. A little young.
But it's amazing. It's so incredible that you have found these pathways so young, and you've led there, and you've created this great company. You've built these
Mhm.
products. You're developing more,
Thank you.
and you're following a career which will hopefully unfold in a very powerful way as well. And hopefully, you can really go crazy and do widespread more telemedicine, so you can reach even
Mhm.
more people. But yeah, give us the final word of where to find you, what to do, and anything else you want to add to the mix.
Okay. First thing, I did see a couple questions in the chat. Yes, it is safe to use around the eyes. Just don't get it within the eye and make sure that you don't have any sensitivity or irritation to any of the herbs within the formula. Patch testing is always key. Another question that I did see about the pregnancy and women, about tightening the pelvic floor. I do refer a lot of my patients to pelvic floor physiotherapy, and they do see quite a bit of benefit. So I would say definitely look into that, someone in your area. But where to find me, my website is www.heale.ca. You can access that through my Instagram account, which is this account that I'm using on the live right now. So you can just give me a follow. To contact me, you can either DM me or you can send an email through the website. And yes, shipping is open to the States. So whatever you choose in terms of product wise, it will be there. You can just browse the website. There's also a herbal glossary too to see if you want to know more about some of the herbs that are in the products that I've created too.
Awesome. And what would you suggest someone? Because you have three, but like for skin in general, the
Mm-hmm.
first formulation would be the starting point, right?
The skin salve, yes, yes, that's the best seller. That's the most versatile product that I do have, and a lot of people respond quite well. I actually even use it as a lip moisturizer too, so it can be used for a wide variety of things.
Amazing.
Yes.
Everyone, and hey, can you stay on just for like 2 more minutes?
Yeah, of course.
I wanna sync out with you. Uh, we usually do this before. I just like to be weird with this stuff, but
Okay.
uh, usually we do this when we start a meeting. When we sit down with people to break bread, we sync up. I like to actually. Oops, my phone almost fell off this window with the messenger. I usually like to wind everything down by doing this. But we're basically just going to give yourself a hug, and
Okay.
we're going to give ourselves a twist, bringing our right shoulder to the left and our head going to the right, and we're just going to take 6 breaths together to wind down.
Okay.
Um, right before we do that, though, I got to make two quick reminders. It's obligations of this. Again, everyone, thank you for showing up today. This will be reposted. If you're just tuning in now, do not worry. Do not worry. We're going to repost this within a few hours. It'll be back up on our main page. It will also go over to YouTube as well. All the
Perfect.
pertinent links will be attached to it, so you will be able to see our conversation and learn more about Michaela and Heale. I highly suggest you just run on the website and buy all of it. Just buy all three.
That's a good idea too.
Yeah, just get all three. Why not? Because then you have it and you can play around with it. You can give it to your friends if you don't need it, um,
Yes.
and experiment with it. And again, we want to give a big congratulations to you for graduating.
Thank you
You're
so
going to go through
much.
some awesome photos. You should send us a photo. Maybe we can stick one of your graduation photos with the repost.
You know what? I will. When I get the proof, I'll send it.
Okay, that'd be funny actually to do. Um, if you haven't done so, folks, already, please go, because you're just hurting yourself by not doing this. Go and sign up for the mailing list and early access to our Partnered Maneuvers series. Uh, Now, I know a lot of you've already learned maneuvers and done them and done it by being part of the community or gone to a class and learned it and figured it. These condensed workshops are more in-depth, nuanced knowledge of the who, what, where, when, and why. Sometimes in just going through series and saying, hey, grab your shoulder, twist it this way and breathe, we're just getting people to move and respond. These classes, for example, like the Partner Maneuver series, which is a condensed workshop, it's only like going to be like $333. It's going to take you more in depth so you understand more of the mechanics and the nuance that's involved. It's going to save you a tremendous amount of time, effort, and energy because you can, like anything, you can eventually figure it out yourself.
Mhm.
But if you're going to go help your family members, already kind of knowing how to approach them and get in there and do a maneuver is going to go way further, way quicker, and get them on the track to healing themselves. So go over to humangarage.net, sign up for that. And if you want to connect with me personally, you can do so over at Aaron Matthias, The Purpose. And give Michaela a follow. Uh, if you have more questions, she'll be super happy. Maybe she
Yes,
won't.
I
She's like, why
will.
am I answering all these questions? No,
No,
I'm
no, no.
sure
Send all your questions my way.
she'll be super happy to answer any of your questions on the aspects of skincare. And I'm sure she can also point you in some directions with your health and wellness because she is a naturopath. She does have the ability to officially practice. Um, so go ahead, ask her questions, blow up her inbox, make her crazy. And with that said, do not do this while you're driving, please. We're going to be grabbing onto our body and deep breathing. You can probably do the breathing part while you're driving, but don't let go of the steering wheel. So just give yourself a hug simply. Take your right shoulder, twist it off to the left. If you like, you can cross your legs, or right now I'm standing on a deck of a building, so I just got my feet uncrossed. Turn your head off to facing over to the right. Your right shoulder is going to the left, and we're going to take 6 breaths together and then say adios. And you can breathe in through your nose and let it go out of the mouth. Try to really relax your exhale, people. Just in and then just let it go. In and let it go. If your nose is all plugged up, just breathe through your mouth. It'll be okay. First breath, let it go. Second breath, let it go. Already feeling so relaxed. Third breath, fourth breath, and you can twist further if you want. Fifth breath, and sixth breath. let it go and just come back. Michaela, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Everybody, this will be reposted. Find it here, also over on YouTube as well. And again, thank you so much. Go give Heale a follow. Go to the website, Heale, and grab. Again, I just say I like doing things in threes, so grab all three.
That's fair. That's
That's
fair.
fair, right? Get all three. Michaela, have a beautiful rest of your day. Enjoy your photo shoot.
Thank you. Thank you.
See y'all later.
Bye. Thank you.